All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're diving into a trading strategy called CHOCH, and the whole point here is to give you a clear, step-by-step blueprint so you can stop guessing and start finding really high probability entries in the market.
So here's the big question, right? The one every single one of us has to answer. When do you actually pull the trigger on a trade? That moment can feel like a total shot in the dark. But what if it didn't have to be?
And that's exactly why having a system, a real framework, is so important. We're going to break down how you can identify key market movements and turn that moment of, total uncertainty into a clear, rule-based decision.
So let's talk about the big idea here. This whole strategy is built on what's known as smart money concepts. The core idea is pretty simple. You stop guessing what the market might do, and you start learning to read the story it's actually telling you through its structure and order flow. It's really all about trading with the big institutions, not against them.
The best way to think about this is like you're using a map. It's a top-down process. We start with this huge satellite view to figure out the general direction. Then we zoom in layer by layer until we find the exact street, the exact address where we want to take action.
Okay, so how do we actually build this map? Before we can even think about an entry, we've got to figure out where to even look. This part is all about identifying those key zones where the big significant price moves are most likely to kick off.
And the process works like a funnel, starting really wide and getting incredibly specific. First up, on the daily or the 4-hour chart, we find our major supply and demand zones. This tells us who's in control of the market overall. Then, we drop down to a 15-minute chart to find specific, untouched zones inside that bigger picture. And finally, we zoom all the way into a 5-minute or even a 1-minute chart to really pinpoint our area of interest.
Now, you heard me use a key term there, unmitigated. So what does that mean? Well, an unmitigated zone is simply an area of supply or demand that price created and then just left behind. It never came back. And the theory is there are still a bunch of unfilled orders just sitting there, waiting. And that makes it a magnet for price, a really high probability spot for a future reaction.
Okay, so we've mapped our zones. We know where the hot spots are. Now we just watch and wait for price to get there. But, and this is huge, we don't just blindly jump in. No way. We've got to be patient and wait for one of 3 very specific entry signals to show up. It's all about getting that confirmation.
So what are we waiting for? One of these 3 things: a flip, a continuation, or a CHOCH. Each one tells a slightly different story about what the market's doing in that moment. Seeing one of these happen inside our zone, that's our green light. So, let's break them down.
First up, the flip. Just imagine price comes down into a demand zone, an area where buyers should step in. But they don't. Price just smashes right through it. Well, that old floor of support has now become a new ceiling of resistance. It's just a crystal clear signal that control in the market has literally just flipped.
Next, we've got the continuation trade. Now this one is probably the most straightforward of the 3. The market's already chugging along in one direction, like a moving train. All we're doing is waiting for it to break through a little area of opposition, and once it does, that's our signal to just hop on board and ride the momentum.
And finally, we have the CHOCH. That stands for change of character. And this is the big one. This is our major alert that the entire trend might be about to reverse. It's not just some minor break. This is a powerful, significant move that breaks previous market structure, and it screams that the whole character of the market might be shifting.
So, we've got our zones, we've got our 3 entry signals, but listen up, because there is one absolutely critical rule that holds this entire thing together. And honestly, understanding this one little idea is what keeps you from falling into some of the most common trading traps out there.
So, let me ask you this. When is it a terrible idea to just set a limit order and walk away? Just place your order and wait for price to hit it. Because sometimes that's the absolute worst thing you can do. And the answer, well, it all depends on where the price is coming from.
Okay, here it is. This is the rule. You have to know where the price is coming from. Let's say you want to sell from your supply zone, but price is rocketing up from a fresh, unmitigated demand zone below. Just placing a sell order there is like trying to stop a freight train with your bare hands. You can't do it. Demand has all the momentum. In that situation, you have to wait for a confirmation signal, like a flip or a CHOCH, that proves the momentum has shifted back to your side.
I absolutely love this quote from the source material because it just nails it. It calls this rule a small golden nugget that made everything click. And you can see why, right? Because once you get this one piece, understanding not just where price is going, but where it's coming from with force, everything else just falls into place. All right, let's put this all together now. We've talked about the zones, the signals, that all-important critical rule. Let's wrap it all up into one simple, actionable checklist you can use.
Here it is, the whole game plan. Step 1, start high. Find your direction on the 4-hour or daily. 2, drop down, find those unmitigated 15-minute zones. 3, get precise, refine them down to the 1 or 5-minute chart. 4, be patient, wait for price to come to you. 5, wait for your signal, enter only on a flip, continuation, or COCH. And step 6, the golden rule. Always check where that pullback is coming from before you even think about getting in.
And really, that's the whole idea here, isn't it? It challenges you to look at a chart and stop seeing random, chaotic noise and start looking for the narrative. By mapping these key zones and waiting for these specific signals, you can actually start to read the story that price is telling you moment by moment.